My husband used to work in a morgue, and the stories he'd come home with were something else. I've heard from others in this field of odd experiences of bodies sitting up, presumably from tightening muscles, and one account of a dead man walking partway down a hallway before collapsing. My husband said that he stepped away after setting the body out for cleaning and autopsy, came back, and saw that the body was gone. He was alone. It was the middle of the night. He thought he had gone crazy, and then he saw the body collapsed in the hall. I used to work in tissue recovery. My least favorite part was prepping a donor for recovery, as it included shaving the arms and legs. Once we had a donor who was very freshly deceased. I held his hand to shave his arm, and his fingers curled around my hand as rigor mortis set in. That was exceptionally creepy. If corpses have a lungful of air, then moving them causes it to release. When the air travels through their throat, you get minor vocalization, but it's usually just a liquidy gurgle. It still gets me sometimes, though, if I'm working alone. I'm a nurse, and the only place I've ever seen the lights flicker is just outside the morgue. They are fine almost all of the time, but when we bring a body down, the lights always flicker. Really creeps me out. My neighbor a while back, before I moved, was a mortician. One night, he had a body he was preparing for a very early morning wake or service. Whatever was going on, it was unusual, and it required him to work in the wee hours of the morning on this particular corpse. So, as he's working on it, he turned his back to grab some tools or supplies. And the angle he was standing at with regards to the corpse left the body visible just out of the corner of his eye. As he was looking down at whatever tools he was getting, in the corner of his eye, he saw the body slowly start to sit up. His fight and flight instinct immediately kicked in, and he ran to the stairs as fast as he possibly could. But he was so clumsy, trying to get up the stairs, he tripped, and was pretty much crawling and clawing his way to the top. He was just near the top before his senses finally came back, and he knew it was rigor mortis. He collected himself and started to laugh at how absurd it all was. He had been doing this for 15 to 20 years at this point, and he had never had a freak out like that before, where instinct overtook knowledge and experience. We had a dead clown one time. This person was buried in a full clown costume, with makeup and all. At the family's request, the funeral directors were clowns too. They supplied costume and did our makeup. Family and friends had one teardrop painted on near the eye. A man was brought into us after lying dead in his garage for 3 weeks in the summertime. He was covered in bugs. His skin was black and green, and the flesh sloshed right off the bone. I couldn't do anything for that case. He was cremated. Back in med school, during an internship at the coroner's, I saw a case when a man in his late 50s was found dead at his home, although under quite peculiar circumstances. His body was found standing, yes, standing, in the bedroom, with one leg raised and resting on the bed, basically as if he wanted to climb on the bed but suddenly died. Further examination led to a severe heart attack as the most likely cause of death. However, no evidence of someone moving the body post-mortem could be found. The conclusion was that someone would have to have found him quite early and basically held the corpse for hours until it became stiff enough to stand on its own, or that his death was so sudden that it happened just in the right moment so that his body would be perfectly balanced and not fall over. My first experience at work was when I first started my embalming career. I had just started my shift and was using a restroom in the back. When I came out, I heard what sounded like a girl sobbing and the sound of feet shuffling around on the floor. The floor was kind of gravelly and had a distinct sound if you scooted your feet on it. The sound was coming from a corner that led into a small room where we would store embalmed bodies, ready to be delivered to their respective funeral home. I figured someone was upset and crying, so I snuck in, still hearing the sobbing. When I peeked around the corner, the room was empty, no living person in there. I noticed that there was only one body in there as well, a young girl. She shot herself in the side of the head. I wasn't scared per se, but I'm pretty sure you could audibly hear my heartbeat. Hey everyone, Dismal Hero here. Thanks for checking out the video, and if you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe so you're always up to date with my new videos. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.